And welcome back to the back nine coverage of round 2 out here at Neatman Creek Disc Golf for the Disco Throws tournament.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of good disc golf on the front nine. I think the back nine's going to be followed with a lot of competitive and entertaining disc golf.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle down the stretch. We got several guys kind of all within a few strokes of each other, and it's anybody's ball game. And this is the MA1 feature card out here at Neatman Creek Disc Golf Course in Germantown, North Carolina. And let's take a look at our leaderboard through 9 holes of round 2.
And again, we got a tie at first with Andrew and Robert right there, 5 down. Liam and Caleb looking to chase after it. Still several guys still in the mix, so it could be anybody's game.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of guys still in the mix. Only 4 strokes separate first through 7th place. Excuse me. So it'll be entertaining.
I'm Jacob Little.
I'm Jacob Little. But good try. You're Chase Pittman. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. This is the back 9 coverage for round 2. We've got 9 holes to play. So without further ado, let's see where it takes us. Okay, we got hole 10. It's a par 3, 324 feet. You're kind of coming off this elevated tee pad out here over the field. You want to get something that'll finish kind of right in this gap here. Feeds you right up to the basket. You just got to clear this little mound right before the basket. But if you can get anything kind of right into that mound, you'll have a putt at it for sure. We got Caleb up on the tee box first. It's going to be a tricky hole for a lefty, having to throw something that turns the whole way but doesn't turn and burn. And he did a pretty good job there. It looked like it just carried just a little bit too far straight, but it looked like it punched through the wood line, so he'll have somewhat of a bid at it from there.
Yeah, that's the wide route right there, but if it comes back in time, it might work.
Yeah, and Chaz, just like Chase was saying, swung it just a little bit wide, but also kind of punched through that same tree line that Caleb was fighting through. So they should be in similar locations. We got Tyler with the backhand. Also playing a little bit of wide, but this was a little bit shorter. It's a pretty good placement shot, kind of right up there into the mouth of the gap.
Yeah, as long as you got that open look, then, I mean, really, that's a good place to be.
Yeah, open look equals green light. And green lights equal birdies sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And Andrew's just a little bit inside, but also looked like it kind of got far enough through to he'll have a birdie putt. And Chaz looks like he's having to throw a big ante putt just to get up there. He does. He'll have a pretty simple par from there. And Caleb just pitching one out there trying to connect for the birdie, but came up just a little bit short. And he'll also have a tap-in par.
Yeah, it looks like Tyler's got that open look and did not capitalize.
Yeah, just kind of right into the cage, looked like. But again, easy tap-in par. And Andrew's fought a little further up here than we thought. He'll have a look at his 2. And drills it.
And he'll have it too.
It's a good start to the back 9 for Andrew, knowing that he was kind of knotted up at the top with Robert. Needs all the birdies he can get, kind of try to walk away with this one as the rest of the card taps in for their pars. And that'll pretty much do it for hole 10.
All right, we got hole 11. It's a par 5, 672 feet. You're basically wanting to throw and just get it right around this bend right here. The tall grass is a hazard though, so you got to watch out for that. and then it's just a long straightaway up a really steep hill. The video doesn't do it justice. This is a hike for sure. So par 5, and it definitely plays every bit of 672 feet.
Yeah, and it's not easy with a blind tee shot, kind of playing for placement. You can look like you threw a good shot, and you get up there, and it's just pushed a little too long into the hazard. So looking to just put something right in the middle of the fairway here off the tee and give you an opportunity to push one up there. And Andrew looks like he's done that right in the middle of the fairway. He'll kind of have a green light to push one up there as far as he can.
Yeah, I like what Andrew did. Just throw it real high, let it come spike back in.
Yeah, and this needs to sit down for Kaleb. Okay, yeah, it did. Looked like that could have carried into the hazard for a second. Throwing a sidearm, trying to get around the corner. And Chaz pulls this one just a little wide, and that'll be in the hazard. He'll be throwing his 3 from there. But yeah, you're right. Andrew throwing a high spike hyzer, just making sure it doesn't carry long and gets into the fairway.
I like how Chaz almost hit the camera guy. That would have been kind of funny.
Wouldn't have been great for me. But moving on.
But for everybody else, it'd be just fine.
Tyler also gets one up into the short grass, and he'll have pretty much a full send from there.
Speaking of full sends, I think he's going to annihilate this one.
Yeah, and this is just a low burner. Kind of gets a cut roll that needs to sit down also, and it does. It'll be in the grass. Yeah, he was trying to put a move on it for sure.
Yeah, you could definitely see all the speed on the disc because when it hit, it just cut rolled super hard.
Oh my God.
And Kaleb just early releases this one over there into the hazard. And at that time, the camera actually overheated, so we missed Andrew and Tyler's upshots. They both threw pretty good shots, and they'll be throwing from about 100 or so feet out from the basket. As Kaleb's throwing his 4th shot from the hazard, putting it inside circle 1 for a putt at par.
You don't see that many second shots go in the hazard. Usually it's the one off the tee, so that's a little bit odd.
We still love you though, Kaleb. As you see Chaz getting one up there to the edge of circle-ish area, and he will also have a putt at his par. And this is where Tyler's shot that we missed came to. Just kind of a little high, a little wide, carries it into the tree line up there.
I think it'll still be fine, though. I don't think he went so far in that he can't save it.
Yeah, and this is Andrew just trying to get up and down. This is his gator, I believe, and puts that one inside the circle. He should have a good look at birdie from there.
Jeez. It's very fortunate not to roll, though. That really steep hill, it could really get away from you quick.
Yeah, that was a good bid from Tyler, but tough angle, and it looked like he had to throw that on some ante just to get out there. So it was a good run from what he had.
And there's another one. Also fortunate to sit down, though. So it's 2 good breaks.
Yeah, right into the cage for Tyler and Chaz. As Kaleb jams his par putt. That's a good par to get, especially kind of short arming one into the hazard over there.
Yeah, basically plays as a birdie considering the amount of throws he threw. Just got the hazard stroke, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's how hazards work. They add a stroke without actually having to throw one. As Chaz taps in his bogey and Tyler cleans up for his par. Okay, we got hole 12. It's a par 3, 237 feet. Really tight gap off the tee and plays down into the valley and then kind of right back up the hill. Tons of small trees in the way and a super steep incline to deal with. And the basket's kind of nestled right behind this cluster of trees right in front of it. Pretty guarded, not an easy hole. And we'll see how they tackle it.
I don't know if you mentioned trees or not, but yeah, there's a ton of them.
There are trees. That is a factual statement. Andrew's looking to kind of throw a mid right up the gut.
Yeah, he's not looking to do that.
Got a bad first kick and an even worse second kick kind of pushed him right into that cluster of small trees over there on the right. That'll be a challenging upshot from there. As Kaleb throws I think that's his Z-Flex Heat, I believe. Catches a tree and pushes it up to the left side. He'll have a super long but pretty blocked off putt from there.
Looks like Tyler's going to go with the sidearm. Did not beat the trees.
Yeah, but he pushed up the hill as opposed to coming back down it, so that's always a plus.
That could be a difference of 100 feet right there.
Sure could. Chaz is also trying to lace a sidearm and just gets a super weird reaction. I guess it must have hit a stump or a little something on the ground, a root, and just kind of stopped it right in its tracks.
Andrew's not going to have much from here, so we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, this is a super tough lie. And that was a super tough shot to watch.
That was a loud smack.
And that got him just down to the bottom of the hill coming down from the tee pad, and he's still got to go all the way up this hill. And this is his throw for par. Just trying to push up as far as he can. And gets up there probably 40, 45 feet, but he's still super blocked off with those trees right in front of the basket.
Chaz just got a pretty easy hyzer shot up to the basket.
Yeah, and that'll be a par for Chaz if he can make that tap in. And Tyler kind of looking to do the same thing. Throws it on a bit of ante and gets an unfortunate kick over to the right towards the next tee pad.
Did I mention trees yet?
If you hadn't, now would be a good time. Opportunity missed. And this is what Kaleb was left with his two. Super blocked off.
Oh my god.
You couldn't tell it from here.
But somehow gets it to go. That's an awesome putt for a two for Kaleb.
He's still not over the basket yet.
Did not think that was going in. And that gets us another Disco Throws slow-mo replay.
I love the slow-mos.
Just steps right into it. Cashes it. A slow jog up the hill. Doing it in style. It's a great putt, Kaleb. Good birdie.
Yeah, he's going to take a different approach than Andrew, who just walks the entire way.
True. And as Kaleb was walking back, Tyler wasted no time and absolutely drills the putt from just as far as Kaleb was for par.
I don't think anybody was ready for that because there was not many reactions there. I think it caught everybody off guard.
Yeah, definitely not ready for that. Tyler, we owe you a disco slow-mo replay. Hopefully we can get you one in the future. Missed part of that putt. But great putt nonetheless. As Chaz taps in for his par, and this will be a double for Andrew. Meaning that Kaleb has cut the lead to Andrew on one stroke.
Did you just have a stroke? Anyways, on to hole 13, par 3, 184 feet. One of the trickiest 184-foot holes you'll probably play. It's going to be a big turnover or a sidearm for your righty players. And again, kind of like the last hole, ton of trees guarding the basket, so if you hit one, you want to drop in the fairway.
How many holes have you played that are exactly 184 feet?
One.
And there's one of the trees you were talking about. Kaleb catches it and kind of kicks down the hill a little bit. But with this hole being under 200 feet, he'll have somewhat of a look. It'll be a long look, but a look nonetheless to at least get up and down. See Chaz throwing the lefty backhand kind of high and letting it crash. Looked like it came in a little bit early, but he'll still have a somewhat of a look over there as long as he's not blocked off.
Tyler got me there. I thought he had already threw it, and he didn't. But he did that time.
He catches something early on the right side, but it looked like it sat down instead of rolling down the hill. But yeah, he got you with the pump fake. It's just fundamentals, that's all it is.
Andrew trying to recover from the double bogey. Let's see how he answers back.
Yeah, and this is a great looking shot. Kind of looked like it was going to give it a run. Couldn't really tell. It's hard to see the basket from that angle. But he'll have a good look at 2 from there.
Yeah, that was a great recovery shot. You got to just shake that off and move on to the next hole sometimes.
Yeah, it's in the past, and you can only control the next hole, so got to put it behind you and keep it rolling. So Kaleb threw his up shot, and he'll be up there for a nice putt at par. And Tyler's drive just kind of carried down the hill a little bit further than I think he was wanting, and that was what he was left with for his birdie. As Chaz connects on the 2, it's a good birdie to get. Andrew looking to bounce back from that double and get back to 6 down with a birdie here.
Yeah, that's a great birdie to get coming off that double. Really just kind of getting back in the game, doing what you got to do.
Yeah, I got to shake it off and move on to the next one. And it looks like he's done that. Andrew just kind of smooth and consistent, never gets flustered, and no matter how bad of a hole he has. As you see, Tyler tapping in for his par. Fun story about Andrew. I played a tournament with him. First hole of the round, we found a disc. He picked it up, putted with it from about 5 feet, spit out for a birdie. So he took a par on the first hole of the day and just laughed it off. That's the kind of character he has on the course.
Yeah, it doesn't really show a lot of frustration.
Yeah, it's a great quality to have. That'll bring us to hole 14. It's par 3, 274 feet. Kind of got to hit this tunnel that cuts off a lot of the distance to the basket, or you can throw a big hyzer around the outside. Hyzer won't really get you all the way to the green. So if you're taking the hyzer, more than likely you're just playing it for par. But if you take the tunnel shot right up the middle, there's opportunity for some bad kicks down this hill. Looks like Chaz is willing to risk it.
For the biscuit.
Hits a tree, drops him straight down. Not sure if that got him the biscuit or not, but
I don't think that was the biscuit, but
that was more of the dough. Anyways, looks like Andrew's taking the big hyzer around the corner, and this needs to, yeah, that sat down. This fence line that you see along the left is the OB line here. So anything that carries left of the camera's perspective of that fence line is OB. And Kaleb's also needs to flare, and it just caught something and stayed OB. So Kaleb's going to be throwing his par from the last place that was in bounds.
yeah, that's a really big miss from Kaleb.
Yeah. Tyler taking the more safe hyzer around. But I think Kaleb was trying to get a flare around the corner and just didn't get it to the ground quick enough. So with that, he'll be throwing his par from here. And this is probably bogey at best.
I can only assume he's going to try and just play it short and never mind. He tried to fully run it.
Yeah, and that needed to get down quick. There's a super steep hill behind this basket, and it can run away for quite some time.
Props to him for giving it a chance.
Yeah, he's not one to lay up, that's for sure. You see Chaz just kind of trying to throw a force over, little touchy up shot. Catches a tree and pushes him down the hill a little bit, but it sounded like that sat down. So depending on all those trees, he may or may not have a look at it. Looked like Tyler didn't really want any part of running that one, was just trying to lay it up under the basket, and it still almost carried long by the looks of it.
Yeah, I can't say I blame him. I would probably be laying up on this hole too. There's just a lot of potential for a roll away.
Yeah, and it looks like Andrew's just trying to do the same thing. Kind of had a late release on this, but with the slope of the hill, it kind of filters it back towards the basket. And this is a tough look for Chaz. Trying to save par. Okay, never mind. Not a tough look.
What do you mean when you say trying?
He did. He did save par. Good par putt, Chaz. Staying at even par for the tournament. And speaking of tough putts,
Speaking of full splits,
Tyler's got what looks to be a huge kind of hyzer just around the edge of this. Okay, so they're making this look easy. Good putt, Tyler. Put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah, disc golf really ain't as hard as you make it look, Jacob.
Okay, then I'm just going to assume this is an easy one for Andrew, and okay, we'll just start doing that from now on. Par from Andrew. And this is what Caleb's got left after his upshot. This is for bogey for Caleb.
This is what happens when you run this hole.
Yeah, he's got a... Well, I'm not going to say it, but this is what he's got left. Okay, and that one was tough. Kind of just squares that tree right in front of the basket. And he'll be dropping 2 shots to Andrew here with a double bogey. All right, through 14 holes, we got a scoreboard update. We got a 3-way tie. Andrew Bell, Robert Duncan, and Liam has battled back all the way to knot things up at 6 down with the other leaders. Then you got Tyler Lawrence, Kaleb, Luke, and Russ all tied at 2 down. But still several holes to play, and it's anybody's ball game at this juncture.
All right, and we got a tough one coming up. It's hole 15, par 4, 393 feet. It's a big shot down the hill, and then once you get down the hill, it's a big shot right back up the hill. It's a lot of twists and turns along the way, and you better be in the fairway because you're going to be scrambling big time if not. I've heard there's potential for a 2 on this hole, but I've not seen it yet.
Well, hopefully one of the guys on the card can show you the way to the 2, if it is possible.
Chaz being able to throw right or left-handed could really help him out on this hole.
Yeah, and right before this, that is laced down the middle into the fairway. That's a great looking shot from Chaz. But right before this hole, Chaz told Caleb, this is our hole, throwing lefty.
And he meant it too.
Yeah, he wasn't messing around. As you see Andrew lining up the sidearm. Catches a tree on the left and just kind of slowly falls down to the right side of the fairway. Scramble mode's on for Andrew now.
Looks like Tyler's going to go with the backhand, and it's tough. I'll say that much. And that's great.
Yeah, gets a great kick off the tree, redirects him right into the fairway. Sigh of relief from Tyler. That's exactly where you want to be on this hole.
And the other lefty pushing far, and wow. That is right in the middle, way up there.
Yeah, that was a great looking shot from Caleb. That pushed way up there. I believe that was his buzz.
Again, answering back from the double bogeys, these guys are not letting it get to him.
Yeah, just bouncing back immediately. You see Andrew playing smart here, just pitching into the fairway, giving him an opportunity to get up and down for par.
And Tyler's got a green light go for the 2.
Yeah. And about rings it up.
That looked perfect. He had me fooled.
Yeah, I thought that was in the whole way. I think it just carried just long and kind of kicked off the log that's laying down next to the basket.
Andrew's also got a pretty good look at it from here. I really want to see one of these guys throw it in.
Yeah, and this is Andrew's Comet. Just threw it high and let it sit kind of right down next to the basket. And that'll be a good look to save par for Andrew.
All right, Chaz, be my guy. Let's see it.
And this one just gets a little bit away from him early and just kind of hyzers out to the right side of the green. And Caleb had a monster drive. Just off to the right side of the fairway, though, but he's still able to get up there. He'll have a good look at his 2. Excuse me, his 3.
Really taking his time, going through the routine, getting a birdie. No big deal.
Yeah, good birdie from Chaz. See if Caleb can match. He does, with authority, I might add.
And Kaleb is a very fast player for any of you guys that have never played with him.
Yeah, it doesn't take his, well, not necessarily take his time, but just gets up there and does his thing.
It just doesn't need much time.
As Andrew taps in for par, and Tyler gets the easy tap-in birdie as he almost rang it up for an eagle.
I was really rooting for him on that one.
Okay, we got hole 16. It's a par 3, 272 feet. It's deceptively hard. Doesn't look like it would play that hard, but it's just a gradual incline the whole way up there. Lots of trees left and right, very thick. So you want to throw something just dead straight, let it kind of slide up here to the circle. You don't want to run anything too hard at it because that fence line behind it plays OB.
Okay, it looks like Chaz is going to go with the sidearm. I feel like the sidearm's kind of tricky on this shot.
Yeah, this just kind of was low and filtered early to the right for Chaz. He's going to be right behind that big group of trees. But the sidearm, you kind of want to throw it dead straight, just left down the whole left side of the fairway and let it finish right at the basket after he gets up there. And Tyler's just gets a kick off into the left. It's going to be thick in there. Not easy out.
Kaleb's lefty line seems to line up better on this hole if he could capitalize.
Yeah, looked like he just a little bit of an early release there. He's over in the right side, up there in that cluster of trees before you get up to the basket. And this is kind of the alternate approach here, just a right-hand, backhand right up the middle and let it kind of drift to the right. Puts a ton of snap on it, low, into the ground, flares up, into the tree line. He's up there near Kaleb and Chaz.
Yeah, that's where you see a ton of disc going, just that little section of trees right before the basket. It just kind of draws them in.
Yeah, and Tyler was having to throw his upshot from a knee. Was a little bit short, it looked like. So he'll have a putt for his par from there. As Chaz pitches up from the tree line, that'll be an easy tap-in par for Chaz.
Tyler giving it a good run. Gets right up there under the basket.
Yeah, and unfortunately another drop stroke for Tyler once he taps in that bogey. Looked like Andrew was trying to give us a bid for a little bit, but probably the smart play just to pitch up there and take par.
Yeah, he might have had a low ceiling look at it. That was pretty low, but it looked like he was trying to give it the power to get there.
Yeah, and Kaleb kind of did the same thing. Just pitches up here. He'll also take a par. Almost interrupts Andrew's cadence there. I spoke too early about him being courteous. Just kidding.
I'm not.
And those pars for Chaz also, and then Tyler tapping in for the bogey.
Hole 17, par 3, 128 feet. Plays as the easiest hole on the course. Most people are just going to throw a sidearm little chip shot up here. You can throw it back in, but sidearm's really kind of play. It just leads right to the basket. You'll see a ton of ace runs on this one.
Yeah, and with Kaleb and Chaz both kind of, well, I'm assuming, yeah, Chaz is going to throw, oh no, he is throwing lefty backhand. And Kaleb also throwing lefty backhand. Kind of mimics the righty sidearm. Chaz asking for this one to sit down. Just kind of carries a little bit over the green, but didn't get too far.
Kaleb's getting one right past the chains.
Yeah, that was a good looking shot from Kaleb. He'll have a fairly manageable putt for birdie from there. And this is Andrew's Gator 3, I believe. And this is
In the chains.
Oh.
The disco throws.
And while we appreciate the shout out, that fell out the backside of the basket. You heard Chaz say that didn't stick. Andrew, like we were saying earlier.
It looked like you could see it in the basket. Was that not it?
No, it just came out right out of the backside. Still a great ace trace replay here. Tracking the whole way. Hits the chains and just barely falls out the back. We thought it was in, even when we were halfway up the fairway. But you heard Andrew in the background. Never loses his cool. He says, who cares? It's a birdie. That's just the type of player he is.
Yeah, and he said everybody has to subscribe to Disco Throws. So, I mean, I guess everybody's got to do it.
Yeah, got to listen to him. Easy tap-in birdie, like he was saying.
Come on, they're doing good stuff.
Yeah, still subscribe. We appreciate it, Andrew. Great shot.
Chaz looking for his birdie. And gets it.
Yeah, barely hung on. But there's no pictures on the scorecard. That'll get Chaz to 2 down for the tournament.
He's getting some good putts out here.
Oh, yeah. He's making them when it matters. And Tyler also looking for the birdie here on hole 17. And gets it. That'll get him back to even for the tournament. And as long as Kaleb can make this, we are going to have ourselves, another star frame on hole 17. As you hear Kaleb.
Yeah, he's excited about it, which so are we, Kaleb.
And before our last hole of the round, or the tournament rather, we'll get a leaderboard update. Andrew and Robert tied up at 7 down. Robert's already done, and Liam's in the hunt. He's got to birdie his last hole to tie it up, but if Andrew can birdie, he'll walk away with it unless Liam can eagle it. So we got an exciting finish here for you guys, and let's see how it plays out. We got hole 18, the last one of the tournament. Par 4, 462 feet. Super downhill and then right back up the hill. You want to throw something and just push up as far as you can up this hill and try to get yourself the flattest ground possible to throw from. And then throw your upshot into this green that kind of runs away from you the whole time into the tree line and just get something to sit down so you have a chance at your birdie.
This hole is ridiculously steep. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, the camera doesn't really do it justice, but it is super steep, straight down and right back up as Chaz crushes a sidearm. It's finishing out a little bit early, but that is crushed way up there on the right-hand side of the fairway.
I've still yet to figure out if he's right or left-handed. I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He just throws bombs. Kaleb also getting a good move on one. Finishing right up there. That's kind of the landing zone you see for people throwing sidearm. Most of the time backhand you'll see on the left-hand side.
It looks like Andrew's going to go aggressive here.
Yeah, and he just, if he can birdie this, he pretty much can put a chokehold on the rest of the field. And this needs to come back left. Just looks like it caught some limbs over on the right-hand side. Just a little bit too much of a turn on it and drops it down into the fairway, so he'll be able to still be able to get up and down and get a birdie from there. But it's not going to be easy.
No, you definitely don't want to flirt with that right side too much, but he's still got the chance.
And Tyler is also looking like he's going to be over there on the right-hand side. Look like maybe just a slightly early release from Tyler with his sidearm. And this is where Andrew's drive came to, so he just needs to get up and down, and that'll put him at 8 down, 1 stroke clear of Robert, and 2 strokes clear of Liam, who still has to place hole 18.
Yeah, very fortunate not to go in those trees on the right side, and he gets the upshot up there, but it's still not very close.
Yeah, I think it's right on the edge of the circle. As Tyler's also thrown from this right side, just throwing a big forehand kind of right up in the air towards the green. And Chaz threw a great forehand off the tee, almost got up here to where the ground's flat. And had what looked to be about 120-ish maybe left. And that was pretty close. Should be a birdie for Chaz. Kaleb leaves that one a little bit wide, but the way he's been putting today, that should be no problem for him.
Yeah, this is definitely not as close as Andrew would like to have been. He's still got the opportunity, though.
Oh, and you see him. He's disappointed. He knows he can make that. And so
Well, now he knows he's got another one from the same distance coming back.
Yeah, and this is just to keep him tied with first place. And kind of has the same thing coming back. And now he's going to have the same exact putt as, maybe a little bit closer, but pretty much the same putt as he did for his birdie.
And at that point, it just really starts to get mental. He's going to hit that putt most times, but it's a real struggle once you know what all's on the line.
Oh yeah, it's a lot to deal with mentally, but I know he can handle it. I've seen him do it, and that's going to be an unfortunate bogey for Andrew if he can make that. As Tyler drills the birdie, getting him to 1 down for the tournament. That's a great way to end the tournament, Tyler. Good putt.
Caleb's got a reasonably close putt, but with that downhill right behind it, it's still a little sketchy. Never mind.
Not for Caleb. Drills it for birdie, gets him to 5 down. It's a good way to end the round, Caleb.
Yeah, that's a real hot round for Caleb.
Oh yeah, tied for the hot round of the day, I believe. And Andrew taking the unfortunate bogey, which will drop him 1 down to Robert Duncan, who's in the clubhouse with a 7 down. But you got to admire Andrew, just never losing his cool and the ultimate professional. As Chaz connects for his birdie, getting him to 3 down.
Yeah, strong finish for Chaz.
Yeah, he battled back.
But you really just got to feel for Andrew on this one.
Yeah, and so this is Liam's last hole. He's at 6 down, and Robert Duncan is done at 7 down, so Liam has to birdie this to force a playoff. And he crushes one off the tee pad right up to the flat ground, and he'll have probably 120-ish, maybe 130 from there.
Yeah, he put it right where he needed to. I mean, he's got just a chip up from there, and I mean, he could even run it if he wanted to.
Yeah, and you hear, I believe that's Luke Seeley on his card asking it to go in. It looked like it was tracking.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was just trying to take the outright win with a nice throw.
Yeah, we saw him in round 1. He's not afraid to run anything. But this is to tie it up and to force overtime. Not easy putt, straddle with some limbs in his face.
Nice.
But he is unfazed. That's a birdie for Liam. Puts him at 7 down.
That's extremely clutch.
Yeah, and he told me that was the most nervous putt he's ever had. But you couldn't tell from that. So we got Andrew finishing the tournament at 6 down. Kaleb right behind him at 5. And then Chaz at 3 and Tyler at 1 for our feature card. And for the look at the overall leaderboard final scores, we got Robert and Liam tied up at 7 down, so we're going to have some extra holes, and we'll settle this tie once and for all. Andrew 1 stroke back, finishing solo 3rd at 6. Kaleb solo 4th, and Tyler Lawrence solo 5th. And then we had a tie at 6 between Luke and Chaz at 3 down.
All right, like Jacob said, we got more disc golf for y'all. Fun and exciting. I'm gonna run y'all through it one more time. We got hole 1, it's par 4, 536 feet. Again, the main thing is you want to miss this Mando on the right, especially in a playoff. That is crucial. Once you get on down here, then you got a straight look at the basket. However, you got to throw it to get it there. For these guys, there's a lot of pressure on the line. This is not an easy playoff hole. So we're going to see how they go about it.
Yeah, it's a pretty demanding tee shot, so we'll see how they handle it with the pressure of the tournament on the line. And also we had a pretty good group of people up here watching, so there's definitely some nerves that come into play.
Yeah, and I was up here watching, so I mean, me being there, seeing them, I'm sure it made them nervous. A guy like me.
If that's what you got to tell yourself. But we'll see how they handle it. Looks like Robert's going with the sidearm. And this is looking great. Juices it, lets it finish, flares up, and catches a tree, luckily for him, and kind of sets it down right on the edge of that tree in the fairway.
Robert did exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, misses again high and early for Liam, but makes the Mando. I know he missed it in round 1, but
Yeah, very similar miss to the round 1, just a little bit early, but I mean, it was crucial to make the Mando, and he did, so he's not out of it yet.
yep, and Robert can put a ton of pressure on Liam here if he gets this one close, because Liam's somewhere up there on that hillside on the right, and there's a lot of trees between him and the basket.
Pressure added.
Yeah, that looked like it was tracking. Looked like it had a chance to go in before it caught those leaves right before the basket.
And Liam is just not in a good position all the way around. Bad footing, bad angle, not really a lot of look.
Yeah, and you hear Liam say that sucks, but he was in good spirits. He knows he has to make this to have a chance to push it to the next hole if Robert can make that putt.
And he gives it a full send and goes way past the basket, but I mean, you got to admire him for trying his best to throw it in.
Yeah, like we saw in round 1, Liam does not lay up. He will run it every single time, and he did just that. And this is what he's got for par, so he's got to make this and then hope Robert misses that putt in order to force a push to hole 2 for the playoff.
And still taking his time, making sure, not giving up. And that pretty much seals the deal for Robert.
Yeah, and Robert's got pretty much just a tap-in birdie here for the birdie, getting him to what would have been 8 down. That breaks the tie, and we got Robert Duncan as your MA1 champion of the Bangin Chainz Presents Disco Throws at Neatman Creek.
He asked me if I'd sign the trophy for him. I was like, no, man, this is all you. You earned this one.
All right, Jacob. What do you think?
Thought it was a great tournament. Had another great ending. Sent it to overtime. Good battle between Robert, Liam, Andrew, and even Kaleb came back to fight towards the end. So ended up being a good showing from everybody on our feature card, and we appreciate all the guys who let us film their round. I know it's not the easiest thing to always play on camera.
Yep. Round 2 definitely did not disappoint. I'll say that. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
He
literally was.
He literally was.
Yeah.
But
Nail biter.
with that being said, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the support and all the people helping us grow along the way. So, okay. Well, we appreciate all the support, and if you guys want to do us a favor, give us a follow on Facebook and on Instagram. Subscribe and follow on YouTube. Really helps out, goes a long way, and allows us to keep bringing coverage and whatnot to you guys. So
Yeah, we want to keep giving y'all all the stuff you're asking for.
that's right. So we appreciate you guys, and we will catch you next time.
Disco Throws out.